Okay.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and state of emergency, this meeting is being held via live video teleconference pursuant to 2020 Senate Bill 150 and in accordance with KRS 61.826 because it is not feasible to offer a primary physical location for the meeting.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And if you all haven't heard, we have been released, right? We are the mask. If you have been vaccinated, as I understand, you can be indoor or outdoor, you know, with people, even, and not socially distanced if you have without a mask, as I understand. And so that is the most. Does anyone have any other news about that or that you've heard? But I think there's
Diana, does that mean we can hug each other finally?
I think it does. Big hugs, absolutely, for everyone. So that is really good news, and I'm very glad we're having that, that's the case. And so take your mask off, right? If you've been vaccinated, I think it's going to be okay. One other thing, Melissa, also, if if you would please, do you have the agenda available to you? If you could share that, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So there's our agenda. It shifted our screen view, but we'll call the meeting officially to order. And I want to thank all of the committee, the executive leadership and committee chairs for the work that you've been doing over this past quarter. It's very much appreciated. Really exciting. I'm hearing so many good and exciting things. So just really pleased with the progress that's being made, and thank you for that. You know, just a warm welcome to our guests. Do we have any guests with us today? If you would like to introduce yourselves, we welcome you, and we're very pleased to have you. So if this time, if you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself to all of us, we would appreciate that.
Well, I'm Jerry Clark. I don't know if I'm a guest or not. I guess I am. I'm a part of the subcommittee for Maryland, so I'm a little engaged there. So and my company does employment-based immigration. So that's kind of where we add value add.
Nice to have you, Mr. Clark, for
Thank
sure. You. All right. Who's next?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Hustler. I'm also a guest. I'm just listening in today. I'm the manager for language services for UK Healthcare.
Nice to have you, Ms. Hessler. Glad you're with us today. You know, come back anytime.
She's also a great friend who works with me on Title VI issues and also on compiling the list of the master list of languages. So thank you, Sarah, and thank you for coming.
You're very welcome. I appreciate the collaboration. I think we work with the same communities with the same goals in mind. So I'm happy to listen into this group today. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any others? I can't see the full screen because of the agenda. So if anyone else.
Sure, I will introduce myself as well. My name is Yamukumba Mbayo. I'm here with BCTC as well as DOMH. BCTC is a Bluegrass Community and Technical College here in Lexington, and DOMH is Dreams of My Homeland, which this works. It's a new organization working to advocate and to address the needs of immigrants communities here in Lexington, especially Swahili speaking communities. So thank you. And I'm also very happy to be here and to please ask if you don't mind sharing your contact. I'm very interested to learn about everybody that's here.
Wonderful. Mr. Bio, nice to have you here, and we hope to see you again. And we're certainly happy to share any contact or information with you. If you, we have chat box on here, and so I would encourage any of our members, committee, or executive committee members, if you want to provide any information there about how to be reached, for your committee, please, put your email in there or something of that, so our guests have a way of contacting you. So that's wonderful. And I should say, and I take this, I forget this, but I'm Diana Queen, and I'm one of the co-chairs of the Mayor's International Advisory Affairs Commission. I should mention that. And that's who you're hearing talk. And also Kongolo Kalala, Dr. Kalala is the other co-chair, and he can't be with us today. So do we have any other guests before we move on to the agenda? Anyone else? Okay. All right.
Diana, I saw
Yes.
a Steve Rogers.
Oh,
Steve Rogers was on here earlier.
Okay. Mr. Rogers, are you still here?
And then there's Commissioner Armstrong, who just,
Okay. Commissioner Armstrong, nice to have you with us today, sir. Is there anything you would like to, or would you introduce yourself?
I'd be glad to. Thank you very much. I am Ken Armstrong. I'm Commissioner of Public Safety. I'm sorry I joined you a little bit late, but I had a meeting with the mayor. And as always, I try my best to attend any of those meetings and want to provide the support of the mayor's office and also my office for anything that we can help the committee or the commission with. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Armstrong. We're glad to have you with us, and we're always welcome public safety and, lots of good information sharing we always want to do, with public safety in our community, with the international community. So, okay, well, with that, I don't see anyone else. So we'll move along. So, first of all, let's, again, let's move to our committee reports. And I will just open the floor up and kind of turn it over to you. Who would like to, let's see, where do I have on here? The Emergencies and Public Health Committee. That's Mr. Aqua. He is not available. And I have not talked to him directly about having anyone else present those topics. But I do know that there has been a good bit of work that has been done from the Emergencies and Public Health Committee involving the COVID-19, vaccinations. And Miss Taylor, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you attended that meeting. Is there a couple highlights maybe you might like to share?
Yes,
overall, I don't want to go too far, but if you could just share a couple highlights.
He has had 2 meetings on the 9th and the 25th. And on the 9th, it was the regular meeting. Really the COVID messaging for vaccines has been the most important topic so far. And messaging not only to our Hispanic community, but to all of the other languages that are in minority groups, very much smaller groups. We're targeting that. And I think there's a real good dovetailing with what the outreach committee may be doing later. But the main thing that came out of the meeting of the 25th was that Dr. Tushan followed up with an informal survey of why are people reluctant to get the vaccine, and there was a lot of misinformation, of course, and so working on those messages to target those concerns was part of the work. The other part was the children's art project, working with Fayette County Public Schools, EL teachers, English learner teachers, so that we can get an art project with children, either elementary, middle, and perhaps high school, to get the message to target those languages that we may not be reaching right now, and to have that conversation generated by this art project that the children will be messaging their parents about vaccines. So that's well on its way. We thought we had Anthem to underwrite the project, but it doesn't look like they're going to move forward with it. So Global X may pick up some of that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Taylor. Appreciate it as well. We've We will be, and also there will be the minutes of that meeting, just for everyone's information. The minutes of the Emergencies and Public Health meeting are on the LFUCG Boards and Commissions website. The meeting was recorded, as I understand, and there are the minutes of that meeting that are available to you if you'd like to go to that and, you know, just catch up about what's happening. Any of those matters I'll be following up with Mr. Aqua, Innocent Aqua, in regard to his committee meetings, and then we'll be considering taking forward any of that information, you know, to the full commission meeting that is next week. So just so you know. So the next one is the outreach committee, and that is Dr. Maskey, Wajin Maskey. So Wajin, I'll turn that over to you.
Hi, everyone. Good, beautiful Friday morning. And also graduation season, everything. So the outreach committee has met, I think twice or twice at least, in between the last executive meeting and now. And the focus for that meeting, for those two meetings, and of course the in-between email communications was for the drafting of the MIAAC ambassadors program. As I have said, I don't know why it fell onto the outreach committee's lab, but I hope, you know, we're not overstepping to other committees, and I'm very thankful to all the committee members for their dedication to really work on this. We originally had a draft, and then the first meeting really, because there are so much discussions, we didn't finish, and so we actually had a second meeting, and then in between. So I really wanted to thank Isabel and also Dominic in the entire process in between, you know, the meetings, and to get this together to a final draft. Okay, so the reason why we still call it a draft is we believe that it needs to go to other committees or subcommittees, and it needs eventually also go to the entire commission for processing and discussion. It's just really a draft. It's a draft from the outreach committee's input. So I have sent the final draft to the two co-chairs, and I thought it would probably be a good idea the two co-chairs and take a look and then decide what to do from there. So basically, to summarize it, the entire document includes a few parts. It includes a program goals, which is actually to develop a strong working relationship with the representatives from Lexington's international community, and especially the less represented communities from different regions and countries and cultures and, you know, languages. So they would have a voice in the commission. And the ambassadors will help build a sort of a multilingual two-way information network with their community for the commission and for the mayor's office. And then we talked about what the ambassadors will do. We came up with the 11 responsibilities, let's say, for the ambassadors to do. And we also talked about this document also include the vetting process. the qualifications of the ambassadors, and then how do we recruit a recruitment or recommendation plan. And so finally, we have put forward some suggestions for a training program, to train the ambassadors, and also how to engage some activities or events to engage the ambassadors. So that's basically what that document covers. And as I said, it is now of our committee, and our committee will stand ready to answer questions and to basically be on the side to help facilitate the understand of this draft if there are questions and concerns raised in between, before the commission takes a look at it. And the second thing I want to mention that happened in our subcommittee is we actually have a new member, and that's Dr. Wang Changjeng, whom a lot of the commission members probably know. And he served as twice the president for the Kentucky American Chinese Association. He's a professor at Kentucky State University, and he's been a very active and generous community members in community events. And he just recently organized a 7 community Asian American communities, and had organized a rally to support the Asian Americans in the aftermath of the Atlantic shooting. So he has agreed to join our committee. And let's see what other movement that's basically what we have done in between the last meeting and now. So.
Thank you.
Isabel, I see Isabel, the co-chair, Mr. Wallace is not here, but Isabel had been present in every of our meeting that I feel very blessed with her wealth of knowledge and generosity of time. So Isabel, if I have missed anything, please chime in.
I'm sure you didn't miss anything. From my point of view, from Global X's and the mayor's office, I think that the most helpful of the ambassador goals is going to be to target the languages of minority groups that are very small and not as well represented as our Arabic speaking, Swahili speaking, etc. So thank you, Dr. Maskey. She has done a tremendous job, and it's just moved forward so quickly and so well. I couldn't be more thankful to her and grateful for the opportunity to work with her.
And I would add, Dr. Maskey, thank you so very much. It was really not ever the intention from the co-chairs for that to be, you to be the sole lead on that particular project of getting it organized. And I think we all intended for that to kind of go through a process of starting with you and then passing along to each of the committee chairs. Because each committee chair, and I still want to hold that out, and encourage that each committee chair please carefully look at the draft that that Dr. Maskey and her committee has put together, and look at it through your lens of what you do, and the goals that your committee has, and the vision or something as you might see how your committee connects with the community, right, with the international community, and what would be important, if you're working on business matters, or you're working from the public health lens, or you're working, from Ms. Daniel from the immigration issues, that may you know, interact with an ambassador's program. Kind of look at it through those lenses. I'd encourage you to do that. And, you know, we are excited about bringing that forward for the, in front of the whole commission. I think the question is, for me, as I've been thinking about it, is that, you know, we want to make sure it's ready, right? And then that we're where we need to be, where we all feel like we need to be. You know, you all as the executive committee, we are looking to you, I think, to advise us if you feel like that it still needs to travel further within the executive committee to make sure that it's been properly you know, just vetted and looked at. And if we are ready, we're certainly happy to take it, you know, forward to the full commission. But I would appreciate your input on that today. If you could comment on that, that would be helpful. Do you think, Dr. Maskey, are you comfortable with it going forward to the full commission, or Ms. Daniel or Ms. Taylor? Do you all believe that we need to, it needs more time, or what's your take on it?
As I said, you know, it's only among our outreach committee members had access to discuss this, right?
Right.
I do think I agree with you, Diane. I think it needs to get more input from other committees, because they might have, as you said, different lenses and different perspectives. Because this ambassadors program is for the entire commission. So it probably would, my recommendation would be, yeah, so for each other committee to take a look at it before it goes to, you know, and then process it, and before it goes to the commission.
Okay. Ms. Daniel, are you still here with us? What you know,
Yes.
what input would you have, please, Marilyn?
Well, I haven't seen a draft of it, but I would like to see one, because much of the information that the Immigration Issues Committee will compile would need to go to specific immigrant communities. And we had thought the ambassador for those communities could actually be the communication piece to that particular community. So I would appreciate seeing it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And I agree, you know, I do agree. I think that is the wisest route. You know, we do. And I agree, Dr. Maskey. I think that's the intention, is that we, you know, kind of get that, you know, the basic tenets of it, you know, created and a good look at it. You all have done a beautiful job on this. And, you know, thank you again. And, but I do think it has to pass through each of the committee chairs. It may be a situation, let's talk about time, you know, we all want this to proceed forward, but I think we all, at least my sense of it is, we certainly want to get it in the position to where when we launch it, right, that everything's there, that we need to launch it with a lot of excitement and certainly having everything in place when we do. So as we know, the full commission meeting is on the 21st, and then it's quarterly, right? So we would be looking again in August, you know, for the next commission meeting, full commission meeting. The question would become, do we want, you know, we could give an update at the full commission meeting at this point, right? And kind of bring it forward and present, you know, or if you wish, and Dr. Maskey, since your committee has been the originating group, I think I would look to you to kind of, if you would please give the update on it.
Or to make changes to your service, press 2.
I'm
Thanks
sorry.
for choosing to use our automated phone system.
All right.
To make a payment,
If-
press 1.
Okay, if someone could
For
turn their
questions
phone
about your
off,
bill,
please.
to report, just a moment while I transfer your call.
Someone's got their phone on. Okay, thank you for taking care of that. Okay, I'm just saying, kind of timeline discussion, which is what if everyone, all the committee chairs have a proper, I think everyone, is it my sense, Ms. Daniel, since you're here and one of the committee chairs, you would want to put that forward to all of your committee members, right? Have a meeting about it and a discussion, or what do you think it would take for you to, you know, as you said, as far as a process?
Diana, the older you get, the less patience you have. I would send it to each committee chair or co-chair, because they're going to be aware of how their committee might use that. I suggest you send it out, give us a deadline, maybe 1 week to respond. Then that would give Dr. Maskey a chance to consider any changes we might suggest. And I would present it to the commission meeting in May.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I want to think that through. I want us to, nothing says that I think, I mean, certainly we want to present to the commission, you know, the whole package, right? I mean, we want to make sure we would have talked that all through, I think. I'm slightly hesitant to seek any kind of full approval from the commission, just because I guess I want to make sure everyone has the proper time to kind of talk it all out. And is there a need for that? I'm not trying to encumber that. I'm just really trying to say, are we making sure we've, you know, had given things proper timing and thought things through enough?
My concern is that we're coming up on summer, and particularly communicating about the vaccine programs and about any of the changes that are coming. If we wait until August to finalize it, and then we have to recruit members to become ambassadors, it'll be the end of the year before we could even get anything started. And I would really like to see us get it going as soon as possible. There's nothing that says as we go along, if we see that we've met a hurdle that we didn't attend to, we can make changes. There's no reason we couldn't make changes as we went along.
Okay. Ms. Taylor, do you have, what's your input on that, please?
Honestly, I have a real sense of urgency about this program because of the pandemic. It's still ongoing, and because of all of the information that needs to come from not only the Immigration Committee, because it's so substantial, but also because there are 3 or 4 people already working with us so closely that deserve that acknowledgement. That I see the document as a very brief document. I think Dr. Maskey has worked hard to reduce the concepts and to clarify them. And I think that the process of sending them, I echo both Dr. Maskey and Marilyn Daniel in saying that if we can get that feedback from the committee chairs within 1 week, it's a very short document. And it's the concept is very clear, I think. And again, Marilyn Daniel suggested we can always modify if we see that a 2-year period isn't the right period, or whatever else are the details. I think that can always, this is only a project. It is not changing bylaws or anything else like that. It's a project that I think would be so very helpful. So my sense of urgency is a lot greater than, and I would also request that all commissioners be given the opportunity to make their recommendations after the chairs, send in their recommendations, that perhaps we can get the commissioners to also have maybe a week to send in recommendations. And then if Dr. Maskey would like for the outreach committee to compile that, and to have something, I would hope that we could do that within even 3 weeks to a month.
And I might add one more thing. There is a request for proposals that went out earlier for grants for people to help overcome the vaccine hesitancy. in the underserved populations. And there is a group here in town who made a proposal to receive one of those grants. It's a $100,000 grant. They're proposing to reach our homeless population, our African-American population, and our immigrant population. That grant is announced May the 24th. It goes into effect in June. We had hoped that the ambassador program would be a key way that group could communicate with the immigrant communities, so that if we had people already designated, we would have a way to go to work trying to get those communities vaccinated.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of course, we may not get the grant.
Right.
That's not a foregone conclusion.
That's true. That is true. Dr. Maskey, do you have anything else you'd want to add about that before we?
Thank you. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I agree with the urgency that we really need to get this program going. And as it goes, we can always modify, to make it better, the process or whatever. Because right now in the document, it has a simple vetting process. As, Isabel said very well, the idea is not to have this, document to be legally and everything, every area covered. And that's why it is very simple and it's really lots of bullet points for them. It's just for very busy folks, to be able to go through it. And the idea is to really, let's get going. So, and I think very much if we might even want to discuss in the next commission, if we want to do using the summer time to recruit, we need to have an ad hoc committee to review the applicants, to recruit. So those also need to be in process before the very next commission meeting, so that we could have the action, so that we can have things done during the summer. So that's just my, again, my little 2 cents for getting this move along.
Well, certainly that's what I hear. I think also Dr. Aqua, Mr. Aqua has entered the room. I just want to make everyone aware of that if you don't. Mr. Aqua, are you with us? Is that correct?
Yes, I just joined in.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for joining in. So I want to, I believe what I hear from that's what I'm hearing, which is we want to move it along. We want to present it to the full commission. You want to send it to all of the committee chairs with a deadline of 1 week attached, so that when we do have the meeting of the full commission, it can be introduced. If Dr. Maskey, would you be comfortable introducing that at the meeting? Would you prefer that we do so? Or, I'm certainly, I think you're most aware of the details, so it seems appropriate that you would introduce that. So I don't personally have any objection to it. I will talk with Dr. Kalala about it, make sure that, he feels similarly, but we can do that. And I do agree that there does need to be an ad hoc committee. I think that's a great idea too, is that over the summer that, you want to put that together, right? Who are we going to do the outreach to? What commitments is it? What expectations are there? What roles will people have? How will it work? I think that gives us time to kind of iron all of that out. And I do want to, share your understanding of urgency and advancing it. Just why, obviously, at the end of the day, just want to make sure that what we put out, when we're ready to put it out to the public, it's in great shape, right? We know where we're going and know what we want to do, with it. So
Diana, this is Karen. I would just say too that, in higher ed, sometimes we use the word we're piloting something too. So if it made people feel more comfortable, we want to use the urgency people are feeling right now, the way people are already engaged, we want to get going. But we could call the summer a pilot, as like we're getting started.
Good idea.
Everybody get, that's great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen. That's a great input. Anyone else like to give comment on this? I don't want it to be just us talking. So anyone else that's on is please feel comfortable in giving comment. Okay. All right. Well, with that, Dr. Maskey, we will share that with Dr. Kalala. We will send out an email. I think we'll follow that up. The action step is that we will send that out to all of the commission, to the executive committee chairs, asking them to respond prior to the 21st, probably by the 20th or the 19th, actually, so that Dr. Kalala and I can properly put the agenda together. You know, we're trying to make sure these agendas for the full commission doesn't come out at the last minute. That is a goal of ours to make happen. But I think we can advance this pretty quickly and put that on the agenda. And then we can present it to the commission. And if you would be willing, Dr. Maskey, just to be prepared to, you know, give us some of the good details, you know, that your committee's been working on with that. That'd be great.
May I
okay.
suggest, Diana, that you send it out to the committee chairs, but also go ahead and send it out to all of the commissioners so that they can look at it ahead of the meeting and either make their comments ahead or be prepared to ask questions at the meeting.
Okay. All right. I think I don't see any problem in that either. So that sounds good. Thank you. That's wonderful. I want to go ahead and I want to come to you, Ms. Do we have anything else, Dr. Maskey, from your committee before I leave your committee?
No, thank you, Diana. That's all from the outreach committee.
Okay, thank you. All right, I want to move to Miss Daniel now because I know, Marilyn, you have to leave us at noon, and let me turn that over to you now from the Immigration Issues Committee, Marilyn Daniel.
Okay. Our committee met on Monday, May the 3rd. Most of our discussion had to do with the changes that we're seeing in different aspects of immigration law practice. Our next committee meeting will be August the 2nd. And during that meeting, each of the members of the committee agreed to summarize in a paragraph the most significant change that they had seen since the first of the year. So we have identified those, and I will just mention a few of them, or I'll try to summarize very quickly. One has to do with travel bans, and those bans and freezes on certain visa applications have been lifted, so that significantly would increase the possibility that people from those countries could enter the United States. However, there are other travel bans that still prohibit some of them from entering. One of the things that I think is most in the news is the southern border. What's actually happening with respect to people who are trying to enter across the southern border. Title 42 is a U.S. statute that permits the CDC to essentially close the borders in emergencies. And that Title 42 order was entered in March of 2020. So from that time on, it was extremely difficult for anyone to come across the southern border, particularly people who normally would be put into detention. People like asylum seekers, unaccompanied minors, people who were entering without inspection. So by February of 2021, CBP, Customs and Border Protection, had expelled more than 500,000 people under that Title 42 order. Those were people that were just not, they were sent back across the border. Some of them were actually sent to their home countries, flown back to their home countries without ever having a chance to file any petition for relief. In November of 2020, a federal judge removed unaccompanied minors from that order. So since November 2020, unaccompanied minors have not been expelled back across the border. And in February of 2021, the Biden administration amended the order to exclude unaccompanied minors. So they are being detained when they enter rather than expelled. Right now, there are some asylum-seeking families with young children who are being permitted to enter the country and stay temporarily. Single adults, families with older children, those people are still being expelled. The Biden administration has not revoked this Title 42 order. The critics, I think, make a very good point. In December of 2020, in that 1 month, how many people do you suppose crossed the border, the southern border, into the United States? How many were actually permitted to enter the United States? 9 million.
Wow.
9 million in 1 month came across. Some of them come across every day and go back. The critics say this Title 42 order is directed only at asylum seekers. They're the ones you're expelling, but you're letting everyone else in. How are you protecting the country from COVID-19, which is supposed to be the reason? So that is definitely a hot issue. Temporary protected status has been granted to people from Venezuela and Myanmar. And that's a perfect example of how we would like to communicate that fact and the details of it to any Venezuelans or people from Myanmar that are in the Lexington area. And that's, Wajing, where your ambassadors could be a tremendous help, because that's a very specific change that needs to go to a very specific part of the immigrant community. The good news is that President Biden did increase the refugee limit to 62,500 for this fiscal year, and it should be at 125,000 for the next fiscal year. There were some changes with respect to extensions of work visas and international students that are also covered in our report. So I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Marilyn, I have a question. Is your work, and as I understand it, you have some...
You muted, Isabel.
I'm sorry, I thought I took that off. My question is, I understand that you have something like 6 attorneys in different areas working on this and volunteering their time, which is near miraculous because they're so busy and wonderful. But my question is, this is very valuable information across Kentucky, I think. Do you have any plans to put this on a publicly available platform?
Isabel, you're talking to me. I don't even know what a platform is. So no, well, I don't.
I'm talking about maybe a website that people can go to see the work that is currently updated?
I think there are two possibilities. This committee has produced a spreadsheet of all of the changes that we've seen. That's a Google spreadsheet. It could be made available more publicly without the right to edit it at all, so people could just look at it. Now, the limitation there is it's largely in legalese, and it may be difficult for non-lawyers to really understand the impact. The other thing is our report itself, which we tried to put in more lay language so that people would understand the impact. And that's where we get stuck. I don't know how to communicate that information. I don't know what tools to use.
I'd like to speak to that if I could. And this is something that Dr. Kalala and I are working on together, and we've worked together on. And we plan to bring this up before the full commission, with your all support, we hope, is that we have talked with we have two council members who are a part of our commission, and that is Ms. Reynolds and also Ms. Sheehan. And we had a meeting with them specifically about this topic, about how information is going to travel from each of our committee chairs, to the council members in the, part within the city, as you all know. I think 15, I hope I'm not going to embarrass myself. I think that is correct. But 15 council members, and then also the mayor's office, right? And beyond that, right? And where that touches, and how can we, as a commission, ensure that our committee chairs work and that information really gets out there, right? Really makes a splash into the larger community. And we had a nice meeting. We will be commenting on that even in more detail at the full commission meeting, but I certainly want to share with the executive committee that wonderful ideas came up out of that. Part of that is that the two council members that are part of our commission do want to be, active, right? A part of our commission and working towards sharing that information with other council members. Also, each council member, maybe not every single one, but nearly all, have a newsletter. And that newsletter goes out on a monthly basis almost for every council member. And that goes out to all their constituencies, which are on the average about 35,000 people. It doesn't go to all of those people, obviously, right? There's a sampling of that population, or what, I guess I shouldn't say sampling, but there's a portion of that population that sign up for newsletters, with each council member. Well, long story short, what the point being is that we have asked the council members that can we have a mechanism to where the information from the chairs, that written information, goes to the council members and then subsequently gets shared in newsletters, and how can we make that possible? And the other piece is that the committee chairs have an opportunity to come before a subcommittee and to present to those subcommittees or in front of the entire council about information. Excuse me. Okay, to submit, to come before the subcommittees and present on their areas and concerns, and so that the council member chairs that subcommittee, and then they would be able to hear those matters. Whatever points of really important information you would want to get across in those subcommittee meetings that was appropriate to your area, to your subcommittee. And then subsequently, can we have an opportunity perhaps before once a year to give a presentation before the entire council, right? So that we can show what the international community, we can demonstrate the work of the commission, and we can demonstrate and share that information out. So I'm just sharing that because I want you to know we are working diligently to try to create avenues for your information to travel. Ms. Daniel, I just want you to know that you know, I believe that will be at least a step in the right direction, I hope. And do you believe that would be helpful to you?
I think that would be very helpful. I do.
Okay. And you can kind of see if you have an opportunity as a committee chair to appear before a council subcommittee, or, you know, in a joint effort at some point to appear before the city council. I think it's important for our credibility, and I think it's important for our sharing of information, you know, on a broader in a broader step. Also, you know, we have been, and Ms. McCart-Smith has been just fabulous about getting information out on the boards and commissions website. So if you have a document that you want shared to the public, you know, I just encourage you, right? Just to, you know, to please run it past us, you know, if you will, just so we make sure we know what information is being put out there. But just talk with us about, Dr. Kalala and I, about it, and then we can post it out. So,
Great.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Ms. Daniel, before we, from your committee?
I believe so.
Okay. Awesome.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go, but.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your all's work. Okay. See you, Marilyn. Bye. So I'd like to come back. Mr. Aqua, are you still with us? I don't see you, but that doesn't mean that you're not here. So are you still with us? Okay. Does anybody else see him? I do not see him. So, okay, he may have left. All right. So next, Global Lex, is it Ms. Taylor? What would you want to share with us today?
Very quickly, I would like to call attention to the executive committee and the chairs present, that I did send a document to the regional representatives that highlights the languages that are in their area, and that was it was a copy of the 2020 Fayette County Public School report on the languages and the number of students. And I used the 10% rule to figure out the entire population of, for instance, if there's 200 Korean students learning English, the 10% rule tells me that there's 2,000 Korean community members. That doesn't mean that all Koreans don't speak English, because they do, the majority do. But that's the people that are speaking a different language at home and that may need some support and assistance from us. So please take a look. And I highlighted, for instance, for the Asian commissioners, they're having to deal with 34 languages. That's very complex. That's a lot. And so when you are looking at either the ambassador program or any other communication networking that needs to happen, please touch bases with that document that's been sent. There's one for Africa that highlights those languages. There's one for the Americas that highlights all of those languages. And I'm hoping that will keep us all on the same page as to what we're talking about when we're talking about complex community networking, because it is complex. So I hope that helps. The other thing that I would want to say is that Global X is finishing a lot of projects right now. 2020 went freeze on almost everything because we were working from home, and also because of the pandemic response that we were dealing with and still are. But there are a few items that we're finishing. For instance, the driver's education that we have had on YouTube for Swahili, for Arabic, and for French. Now we're ready to put up Spanish and Japanese, and those two languages were very highly requested from the community because the Kentucky Driver's Manual is still not available in other languages. But this is targeting non-English speakers. So it is an English learning project, and it's targeting the rules of the road. And so we, in doing this, we had the help of university professors that teach English as a second language. And we also had help from the police. So the other two things is that we're starting maybe on either Punjabi or some other languages. Let us know what you think. It should be the next priority list, whether it's Nepali or, on the other hand, we're also finishing up a Swahili handbook for domestic violence. The handbook tells people the whole system of judicial system and the shelter system, et cetera, et cetera. It walks people through. It's targeting really the victims. And we now have it in Swahili. And I had one pastor last week ask me for 30 copies. We also have it in French. We're working on Arabic, and we're working on Nepali next. So that's pretty much it. I have been working on a grant because the most underserved population, I think, in other senses in the international community is small business owners. There is no workforce development. There is no small business administration assistance in any languages. And so the purpose of doing this grant, and by the way, the happy news is that I think Kentucky Refugee Ministries will take this on board, and we will support them on this grant. And I'm speaking to Small Business Administration next Monday. So we're trying to cover this in area of need. And as you know, my main job is to do needs assessment for the international community. So that happens on a daily basis with every single person we talk to. But this is one of the most underserved areas for Lexington. So that's it for me.
All right. That's wonderful. Does anybody have any questions? I think I've been a little remiss in not, asking. If anybody has any questions, please, on any, with Miss Taylor or beyond that, to any of the committee, please just speak up. All right. Okay. Next, we have, let's see, Mr. Carpenter isn't with us today for the International Business and Workforce Development Committee. I really don't have anything to report there on behalf of Mr. Carpenter, but and we will revisit that, in the coming days. So the next thing on the list here as we go is our report from Dr. Kalala and I, and just to update you on a few things. One I just talked about, which was a big thing, where we met with, where we did meet with our two council members who I really appreciated their time. We had a wonderful meeting with them. They are anxious to, it's really wonderful that we have council members attached to the committee. I want to mention that's such a good thing, and we want to make sure that that engagement is a great engagement. As we go forward with that, I'll just continue to talk about that, about how we connect. This is the point of how that the commission itself connects to other, as many internal connections that we have, but also beyond that, right? Which is, how do we connect with the city and all the government leaders and departments, and how do we, kind of really make sure we have connection? And then we're working on outside of that, right? What city organization, what community organizations is it going to be important for MIAAC to be connected to, and that they understand who we are, what we do, how to attend meetings, how to connect with you all as chairs, and to be a part of your committees if you so desire for them to be. So that's a kind of that's an area that Dr. Kalala and I are going to be continually working on throughout this year and perhaps beyond. But we're going to steadily just try to add to, you know, and try to make those connections for our committee chairs and for their committees, you know, and the missions that you all have behind it. So we're working on that. We are also the commission itself. We had proposed and written, you know, a request to the city for the commission to expand, and to based upon Ms. Taylor had recommended, I think also the committee chairs had recommended along with it, for the commission to expand to 28 members. That has been approved by the city council. They have given the final approval. It is now a I guess an official amendment to the ordinance involved with it, and we are going to be taking on new members. So this is a discussion that we wanted to have with you to share that we already have. Ms. Taylor has shared with me some names of folks who are interested in joining the commission, who have been you know, very interested in it. Dr. Touchon, Basil Touchon, is a name that already has been put forward to the mayor's office, and I understand Ms. McCart-Smith, I know you're on the call. Has his name been submitted yet, or it's kind of on its way, or where are we at with that?
I just got a note from Melissa saying that it has been approved through the mayor's office and is going to be read in council.
Okay, wonderful. So we certainly would welcome. I know I personally is very interested and excited about being a part of the commission. We have some other potential names, and Ms. Taylor, are you comfortable with sharing those at this time, or would you prefer something different?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay.
One of the Hispanic community leaders is Rosa Martin. I think a lot of us that work with the Hispanic community know that she has been founder of the Latino Festival. She's been a founder of the Foundation for Latin American Arts and Culture. She's been a founder of the health fairs. She's been a founder of the Promotoras de Salud, which is the health promoters group that she brought the concept from Texas to train health community members to train their families and their communities on every topic that you can imagine in health. That group has been incredibly active and effective in communicating, doing those networks with COVID testing, COVID vaccines, COVID messaging, and Dr. Gia Mudd from the university's College of Nursing has been co-leading with Rosa Martin on that. So she has expressed interest. I had tried to get her on board when we first started the commission, because I felt that she was such a strong, very active community advocate and knowledgeable, and she was just too busy. So when she approached us this time, I was just ecstatic. So as soon as she makes that application, we will send it to Melissa. I mean, Melissa will get it first before I do.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. You know, and so we want, you know, Dr. Kalala, we talked about this in our telephone calls, and we do talk with each other on a pretty regular basis. We just want to encourage you all to make recommendations too, right? And we've talked about process and how the process works, and we welcome your input about that. Also, other people that are attending this meeting, Mr. Clark, I see you on my screen here. You know, if you have interest in making, I just want to invite people, right? If you have interest in making application to be on the commission, I would encourage you to do that. Dr. Maskey, I see your hand up. So yes, ma'am.
Yes, so I have a question about, you know, our stepped down Europe representative bill. So does that vacancy fall into the increasing of the members, or is that particular vacancy going to be filled with another European representative, Europe representative?
It will be filled with another Europe, representative, and it would not affect the total number. So the extra commission members are to address needs that have to come that are beyond, they are, as I understand, Ms. Taylor, you were the areas of Asia, India, Asia, the Asian continent, areas within India, and what was the other area? What continent was more?
Well, when we were talking about Europe, I was waiting for a recommendation from Bill, but that wasn't forthcoming. So my own perspective on that is to add Eastern Europe representation, because we have refugees from the Ukraine, from Russia, and from other parts of Eastern Europe. And so I would ask the commission to consider making recommendations if they have strong community members. I have one, but he has a very, very busy job in, he's actually from Kyrgyzstan, but he has a very active and busy job with the Kentucky Commerce Department. So at one point I thought he could come, but it's not looking like it. But the extra commissioners right now really are focusing on the international population. There's five new commissioners for 5 regions. And we need to fill 1 spot in the Americas and 2 spots in Europe now, and then 1 spot in the other areas. As you recall, Dr. Boutros has resigned, and that is why we were able to take on Dr. Tushan, which Dr. Boutros recommended. And I highly back that, because he's been just tremendous with the COVID and everything else. So recommendations can come from everyone. Currently there are no openings for the local representation of the international experts. We don't have any openings at the moment, but I encourage people to send in their applications if they're interested too.
So I just want to clarify. So for the commission members to recommend, for the recommendation, it actually goes to the old, what do you call it? Not old, sorry. The slots that needs to be filled, as well as the increased new commission members, correct?
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
yes,
you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Right. And at the full commission meeting, we're a part of the agenda, of course, is to address this and to encourage, all the commissioners to make recommendations. Ms. Taylor and Dr. Kalala and I had a meeting. We talked about the process, of how commissioners are recommended, right? And just making sure that when we are putting forward names, that people understand the expectations that are also attached to being a commission member. I'm not sure where that sheet is coming from. That is not me putting that up there.
I shared that. I was just gonna show you guys.
Okay.
This is my internal spreadsheet that I use, but this is for the Mayor's International Advisory Commission, this little box here. So this shows you everyone who's on, and then you can see our vacancies that we have and how it's categorized, if anyone had questions about what's open still.
Oh, that's great.
So.
Could you send that possibly to me, Melissa?
Sure.
That way I could have, or at least that section of the document. You know what I mean?
Send that to you.
That way, if you don't want to share the whole document, that'd be awesome. We are, but with recommendations, it's obviously you would talk to the person and see if they have interest, or in that, and you would assist them about how they can make application. They could get in touch with Miss Smith to make application to the commission, but we also want to make sure that people really understand what the expectation is. You know, there's probably about 10 to 15 hours, you know, per month that really, you know, that require our attention and our time and that commitment to the commission, because each commissioner is to be on a committee. And then the committees have to meet and they have to talk and they have to have, you know, they have plans and people have to work on things. So there is an expectation of time and commitment to that and what that really means. So that is something that we talked about. But at our, is there anything else, Ms. Taylor, you think that I need to bring up, you know, for the full commission, or any of you, also any of you committee chairs, that Dr. Kalala and I need to talk with the commission about as far as making these recommendations, or, you know, anything like that?
I'm just reminding everyone that the public is always welcome and invited to make their own application. So we don't necessarily know who is applying until Melissa provides us with those resumes. And so if there is someone that you think would be a great commissioner, just send them the link from Melissa to apply, because they need to apply. They need to be vetted the way we all were. And so it's a very open system. And then the mayor's office decides who the mayor is. The mayor decides what recommendations she's going to make. So ultimately, she sends it to the council, and then they have final approval.
Could I recommend that Melissa send that to all of us as well, that link, as I'm on the page searching for it and I couldn't find the link on the page. So thanks.
Oh, great. Okay.
So to build on what Karen said, I was going to say, if you could, you know, with what Melissa just shared, that commissions, and so if you could, either Isabel or Diane could maybe send an email out to the commissioners on what area we're missing how many.
Okay.
You know, just a taking the stock, little summary that would help, and then perhaps in the same email put in the link for you know, recommendation
applications.
Yeah.
For the application.
Okay. And also Melissa's list has the expiration dates. So take a look and make sure that you're not expiring this year.
No, I don't
So
want
that
to
you
expire.
reapply. We don't want to expire. That's right.
We must not expire. Okay, so that's awesome, and I will do that. And thank you. That's a great idea, and I'll make sure we get that done here over certainly over this weekend, because this weekend I'm going to be working and sending over to Dr. Kalala too, you know, trying to put the agenda together, right? You know, because I really want to get this agenda out to the full commission. I want them to always have a week. That's why I like for us to meet and then us get to a final agenda for the commission, and then get that out to everybody so they have time, you know, to think about questions or whatever they want to do. You know, or what comments they want to make maybe at the next meeting. And also want to thank Dr. Boutros for his service, you know, to the commission. You know, we have Mr. Enright's position, and then you know, Dr. Boutros, you know, has left. Do we have anyone else that we have any other spot that has not been filled, Isabel, that I'm not leaving on? I don't mean the 28. I'm talking about just the number we have today.
The Americas, and that's why Rosa Martin's application would be so helpful.
Helpful there. Okay. All right. Great. So it's wonderful to have her as a potential, you know, candidate for that, and I do hope that that succeeds. Okay. Next, let's see. Any other questions about that commission? Advancing names, anything of that nature? Okay. All right. Next, in our report is the committee members and engagement. you know, we want to encourage everyone. This point is just about making sure that your committees have people, right? That you have an amount of committee members that you have, and that your committees are working, and that you have the appropriate amount of people. Do you all need any support from us in helping you add more people to your committees? I know Dr. Maskey, you are here, and so I'll just ask you because we've lost our other committee chairs. So, is there anything we can do to be supportive to you for engagement with that?
Thank you, Diane. I think one thing I don't know, do we have a cap for how many committee members, subcommittee members they are there, or as many as possible?
Many as you like, I think. No cap that I know of. Miss Taylor, you know anything different, about that? We don't have anything in the bylaws.
That's up to the chair.
Yeah, right. We haven't set one because we mostly have had the problem of, we've had the challenges of actually getting them, right, getting enough members to join, not in the opposite. So, yeah, none that I know of, Dr. Maskey.
Thank you. That's okay. My question.
Okay. All right.
Diana,
yes, ma'am.
The one thing that just occurred to me was about a July meeting, just a social. Did you want to mention that?
Yes. That is something. It's on down in the calendar, or on down in well, maybe it's not. I don't know if I put that on the agenda or not. I didn't, did I? We talked with Isabel, Miss Taylor, about having, we're meeting on Zoom, and we've been doing that, and it has been pretty effective for attendance overall. Today is maybe not a perfect example of that, but overall with the commission and with the public, people have been really attending, our last meetings. They've been well attended. So we thought that going forward, if there's no objection, we might stay with this format of Zoom meetings, but we also don't want to miss out on we all need real connections. I think at least that's our sense of it and sentiment about it, is we still have to get together and hug each other and talk to each other and be near one another physically, and have fun, and have socials so we can build relationships with each other. And I'm actually my work, as you all know, is in restorative justice, and we're all about the relationship building. So I would say, we talked to, Isabel about having that social. And do you have any updates? I mean, we talked about having something fun this summer or late summer that everybody, all the commission members can come to. Maybe we would have food, some music, and, just have an outdoor event. And now since the masks, are going to be able to, if you're vaccinated, that can go away. Maybe that makes it even more possible. So go ahead, Isabel. What would you add to that?
My farm is available, Westwind Farm, to come and meet, maybe have an evening picnic out in the in our area where we can have a fire and have bales of hay all the way around. It would be very informal. It would be just in the evening because of the heat. But I think it's a very bucolic thing to get out and see the horses and just we're only about 20 minutes away from downtown. So it's not that far away. And if commissioners wanted to the invitation is open. If I think, Diana, you and I had talked about either the latter 2 weekends of July, because a lot of people leave for July 4th. And so perhaps people might be able to meet July 16th or 17th, which is a Friday or Saturday, or July 23rd, 24th, which are also Saturdays. So I'm just putting that out there to see what the commissioner's response is, and whether they'd like to do some kind of picnic that way. And like Diana said, we could have, you know, music and food and just socialize.
Yeah. I'm obviously I'm for it. I'm you know, and I know we don't have the other committee chairs here, but you know, do you think that's something that we can share forward to the commission yet, or you know, does anybody have any objection with that, Dr. Maskey or you, Karen? Are you all?
Sounds like a lovely invitation. I think it's wonderful to be together.
Yeah.
I echo Karen.
Okay, so I think everybody would probably be, you know, just sensing it. I would think that everyone would be pretty on board with that. I know Dr. Kalala is, so I'll say that, and I already know how he feels about it. Obviously, I do. I don't know. I wanted to ask Isabel if that's something we could bring family to, or is this just the commission members?
Absolutely, no. I would open it also to guests and potential commissioners and a family, certainly. My only caveat is if you are bringing children, please don't let them go into the paddocks with the horses, because that would be dangerous. That would be my only concern, is that if people bring young children, that they watch them. Otherwise, I think it's a big enough space that you can have as many people over as want to come.
Okay. I see Commissioner Armstrong's hand up. So yes, sir.
I'd make the recommendation, maybe this is an opportunity to, obviously, if we're inviting other individuals, you may want to invite the mayor and the council.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah.
How nice. Yes, that's a great idea. And we'll invite the chief. Can we invite the chief of police and
if you invite the fire chief too? Yes, I have to keep them both happy. So
yes, that's
if
right.
You invite one, you got to invite the other. So.
Well, we'd love, that's wonderful. Thank you. That's very, very gracious. And we, you know, that's the whole point, right? Is that we are able to get to know each other and, you know, socialize and you know, have ways to connect. So, and thank you, Isabel, for offering your lovely farm to do that on. And I'm all in. I'll roll up my sleeves and do whatever needs doing. So, you know, you can count on that to help you get ready and maybe do it. If you want to announce a date, you know, I'll leave that up to you, you know, because you're the gracious host. And Isabel, if you wish to announce a date, you know, at this commission meeting, might be a good time to do it. And we'll put it on the agenda if you'd so like.
Both of those weekends are fine with me, or wide open. So if there's any commissioner who might not be available either weekend, let me know. But like I said, either the 16th, 17th, or the 23rd, 24th. Let me know if you prefer Friday evening or Saturday evening. It's wide open.
I could do a doodle poll, you know, actually with all the commissioners, if that would be helpful, to just try to target, you know, which date or something
that would be,
that they.
Yeah, that would be great. And also, if you want, invite the commissioners that have come off recently, just to thank them, you know.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
For their help.
Yeah. That's great. Maybe we'll put it on the agenda. I can follow with a doodle poll, you know what I mean? We can kind of make the general announcement if you're comfortable, Isabel. And then I can follow with a doodle poll saying which date, you know, would you like to select, and then we can, you know, and then prepare you know, an invitation list and everything, and figure out, you know, how you would like to, how we can handle that best. So next, all right, if we don't have anything else there, I've talked about the interactions with the city council and the mayor's office. You know, also next is our commission orientation chairs workshop. Dr. Kalala and I have set a date for July 27th. That is, you know, and we do have a general agenda of and we will send that out to you. Or overall, it's this, is we're going to be adding new commissioners, and we wanted not to have this orientation prior to having all the 28 on board, right? Because then all the new people that have come on board, that is really important for them. And we want to add this aspect to the commission because we think it's an important one. We have folks from all over the world, some that have a strong understanding of, you know, everybody has a different understanding of different things. Some folks need to know a little bit more about how city government works, right? And, you know, involving everything about that. And others may have a better understanding than that. Also, it gives us an opportunity to talk about expectations of the commission, you know, and about what your roles are and what they mean. It gives us an opportunity for you committee chairs to tell each one of the new, you know, tell new people and new and old, that if you want to be on a part of your committee, it gives you a chance to, you know, really tell what your committee's about and to introduce that. Global X gives an opportunity for Global X to kind of say, hey, this is who we are and this is what we do, and, you know, and to share that forward. And it will give our city council members who are part of our commission an opportunity to help them understand how they can connect and engage. So we are trying to kind of set this in, we will send out a draft agenda of what we have. We already have one kind of, you know, in our, we've created, but I'll send that forward to all of you. Probably, I'm not sure it'll come this week. It may not. I want to make sure that, I don't know if we have all the details down yet. We may have a save the date is probably what we will announce to the commission about saving the date to have this this orientation. We also think that this orientation will take about an hour and a half, maybe up to 2 hours, to be able to properly introduce and take questions and things like that. We also anticipate that'll be a small number of people that'll attend the first time, but we hope over time that this will just be an annual thing, or even twice a year, that once it gets a little more established over time. So I'd like to know if you all are comfortable with that. You know, if you all that are present here, you know, do you believe that's a worthy endeavor? Worth the commission's efforts, and would you support that? Is that something you would be comfortable with? Okay, I got a thumbs up.
It sounds really good. I think that an orientation sounds like a wonderful way to be sure we're welcoming and starting at a shared starting point.
Okay, all right. And all right, so that's where we're at there. I would also say, Commissioner Armstrong, that we would like to talk with you a little bit about that, because that could be an aspect of the orientation that could be valuable if you would be willing. Your office would be willing.
More than willing to do that. That would be great. Anytime that you want to talk. I'd also add, and I know we got off the topic, but the event itself, both the fire department and the police department have what they call cook teams that may be able to assist with that event whenever it comes time. If it's decided that you want to do hamburgers, hot dogs, those kind of things, then they'll be able to assist there too. They just need notification. Isabel, you just get with me and we'll make sure that they're available for that. Okay.
Hey, that's awesome.
All right.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so I guess the last topic before we adjourn, and we're going to get out of here early, so that should make everybody a little happy, is that I want to talk about anything that you want to advance to the full commission. You know, I already know as far as the ambassadors program, that is one, but I would say, and I'll make sure that I get with Mr. Aqua and Mr. Carpenter to make sure that they are aware of anything as well. Just privately, I'll do that. But I want to put the agenda together this weekend, you know, for the commission and send that out to them. So if you have attachments, you have, you know, specific recommendations you want to go to the full commission to put on the agenda, you know, to go forward. If you would send that to me, please, ASAP by, I would really appreciate it by Sunday, because Dr. Kalala and I will talk, and then we will finalize the agenda for this full commission meeting on the 21st. So send them along, any attachments, anything like that. I also want to always have an opportunity to talk with Melissa McCart-Smith here, because she has been so gracious to assist us in the full commission meetings concerning all attachments. So I want to make sure that you send them to me and that we send them on to Melissa so that she has proper time to prepare for that meeting. So, and I guess the last thing there is, what can we do better? This is a real important question, and we appreciate your feedback if you'll give it. What can we as chairs do better? Where do you need support if you need it? What can we do? We're trying hard to make improvements. So please, open to anything you want to share. That's pretty quiet. So, are we? Go ahead.
I have a minor one, Diane.
Sure.
So for commission meeting, I think I mentioned it once, because we're going to have a Zoom commission meeting, and especially we're going to have the public join us. And when we are in person in Global Lex, we each have a plug, right? And standing in front of us with the name and with also, the region we represent. And now with the Zoom, we have the name, but I think you might, in the beginning of the meeting or in the email to the commissioners, so that they can change their Zoom ID and to put in next to their name which region they represent. So the public who are attending the commission meetings can know just by looking at the screen.
Oh, yes, and you did mention that before, Dr. Maskey, and I remember that. Ms. Smith, is Melissa still on here?
I'm still here.
Melissa, what can we do? I don't know if you heard that from Dr. Maskey, but I kind of need your help about that. What do you think?
So each person can rename themselves. If you point to your picture, your box picture, there's little dots up in the corner. And if you click that, you can scroll down to where it says rename, and you can put your name in there, and that would save it.
Diana, I just did it on mine, so you can see.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's actually the three dots, three dots, the next to mute, the right corner of your picture screen, of your own screen.
And if you have someone that's having trouble doing that, the host can always do that for that person.
Okay. And I know, Melissa, you have the roster, of everybody and the regions. Is that correct?
Yes, I sent that out to everyone, I think, who's in this.
Yes.
If you didn't get it, you can always ask, and I'll send it to you. That's an internal document that I keep, so it's not available online anywhere, but I can share it anytime. So.
Okay. Would it be would it be too much trouble, I guess, is the question. Would you have time, and would it be okay that we could put their names in like that? Is that too much would you prefer that everyone did that themselves, or what's your preference about that?
I think it would be easiest if everyone did it themselves, but if they don't, before you start the meeting, you can certainly clean it up and make sure that all the information's in there.
How about, could we work together on that this next time for this, upcoming meeting?
Sure.
You always are so nice to get in early to the meeting like I am. I try to get in about 10 minutes early. And as people come in, maybe we can kind of direct that a little bit and then try to do it. Okay. So, but thank you, Dr. Maskey. That's a great idea. We do need to make that happen for sure. Anybody else have anything, that you want us to advance? Do you want us to work in some area that we're not doing? All you got to do is please share, because, we're open to hearing anything you need. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's everything. Does anybody have anything else? Any other comments that you want to add before we adjourn? Okay. All right. Well, seeing any, I guess I need a motion to adjourn the meeting in a second.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
And you're going to make it to the graduation on time, Dr. Maskey, right? Very good. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll second it.
You second it? All right, Ms. Slaymaker, thank you very much. Thank you all for being here today. And again, thanks for the accommodation on the meeting. Certainly try to make sure we're a little, that doesn't happen twice. But we appreciate you and all you do, and have a beautiful weekend. It's supposed to be a really pretty one. And I guess I'll see you soon. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.